And for the third and final part of my Q&A video, we'll start with the question from the ancient atheist. His question is, Walter did a couple of videos about exploring colonizing space. If you had the power to ensure one of these two things, which would it be? Option 1, an end to all dogmatic religious beliefs. Or option 2, a colony on a partially terraformed Mars, self-sustaining, with a population of 500,000. This strikes me as an unfair question because, I mean, really, these are like two really cool things that are so different, they're hardly comparable. I mean, how do you measure pros and cons when they're so different? Difficult question. And, you know, he does actually relate them. I think ancient atheist is a he. He relates them, saying the reason for the question is that I think we need a colony off Earth because at some point it's likely we will exterminate ourselves due to religious conflict or self-fulfilling prophecies. I kind of disagree there because, I mean, and maybe I have a distorted view of the world, not having a lot of close contact with religion at all, and it playing no real part in my life. I'm not sure that I think it'll be religion if we manage to wipe ourselves out or are wiped out at this point. It's possible, certainly. Religious extremists are some of the crazy people who are willing to wipe themselves out. There's that, definitely, in favor of religion being the final cause. But I don't know. Anyway, moving on though, back to the question. I would take number 1, an end to all dogmatic religious beliefs. And I think I'd take it not for the reason why most people would, which would be the sort of altruistic, well, you know, it will make people's lives happier and better and stuff. Rather, I think I'd be taking it for the geekier reason of the idea of lifting this whole layer of human psychology off and seeing what it leaves behind is fascinating to me. I mean, to me, this sounds like it's like you would finally have the control for the experiment that is life, where life so far has been with this dogmatic religious beliefs, and suddenly here you manage to lift this off and suddenly you have the control for the experiment. Suddenly you see what is the causal relationship here. I made a video kind of about this, saying, do we give religion too much credit? And the idea behind it is, well, is it really religion causing some of these things that we like to blame it for, or not? Because, I mean, we're very quick to say, well, religion doesn't cause morality. Clearly we have morals, and we use those morals to interpret whatever your choice of religious text is, and then we use that interpretation to justify the morals we already started with. Kind of circular. And it's my feeling that people are already assholes, and they take that and they use that to interpret their religious text, which they then justify their assholishness with. So the question is how much of a causal relationship there is, and I would be fascinated to really know the answer to that question. Also, my sort of logical reason for choosing the first one is I feel it's kind of inevitable that we're going to colonize space in some way in the future. So to me, the second option is kind of what's the word? Inevitable. Whereas the first option, I think, would only come about if by some magic Q&A question I was able to change this. So I think I should sort of change the thing that I don't think will happen without my changing it. Whereas the other one, I think it'll happen eventually. Very cool stuff, but I think it'll happen on its own. So anyway, that's my thinking there. That's my choice. I would end all dogmatic religious beliefs. I would be fascinated to see what the world was like without that. So, next question by Poisoned Antidote. Have you ever tried to program AI? If so, how did it go wrong? I think of AI in a very different way than I think most people think of AI. Because I actually, when I'm doing work, like the work I should be doing now instead of making videos, my latest research project is using artificial neural nets to do prediction of protein second-degree structure from primary structure. So we have these trained neural nets that were trained on data sets, and I'm not going to go into detail about the training methods we use, but I could certainly if anyone was particularly interested. But the thing is, I can kind of cheat on this question, because the question is, have I ever tried to program AI? And technically, no. I use these programs. I mean, I'm definitely in contact with the raw source code that we use. I have direct access to the neural nets that we use, and I run them, but I wasn't the one who originally programmed them. So I can kind of cheat and just say, no, I haven't. But I should qualify this by saying my idea of AI is different than most people, I think, at this point, because having actually used a lot of machine learning classifiers, to me, artificial intelligence so much is just sort of a means of having a program learn to better do a specific task, which is very different than the kind of generalized intelligence that we're used to thinking of as intelligence, because we think of human intelligence where people can learn to write or do math or dance or any number of hugely various, very different things. Whereas machine learning classifiers that I actually have used and know about are generally trained on a very specific task, and there's certainly no third-party awareness of the task or sort of meta-awareness, I guess. So to me, AI is kind of different from what a lot of people think of it as, I think. I'm going to link a really cool article, though, because it's freaking fascinating. It talks about AI, the development, where we're at, where we're not at, what's difficult, what we've tried, and where we're going. I think it's a great article. It's an IEEE Spectrum. It's a magazine, by the way, and I think I have a link to it. I'll find it, and I'll throw that up because it's the coolest article I've read on AI. And you know, I haven't read real deeply on the more generalized AI. So maybe there's cooler articles, but it's by far my favorite, and I think I'll put that up for you if you're interested. What's on the bookshelf? Gonna go real quick. These are just my textbooks, mostly, the ones that you see directly here, so this is going to make me look smarter than I am. But they're here because I use them as reference so I can reach them. So we have Organic Chemistry, Biology, Bayesian Methods. This is by far the most difficult book I have. Probability and Statistics, Introduction to Algorithms, Database, Unix, Calculus is just a solutions manual, Discrete Math, C++, Java, Bioinformatics, Genetics, Perl for bioinformatics, really old HTML book. I mean, I don't even know why that's here. A book my brother gave me and I still haven't read because I suck, and a Terry Pratchett book. Up here, all novels, except this is Guns, Germs, and Steel. Great book. These are all C.J. Cherryh books, my favorite author. I'm actually balancing my camera on a stack of C.J. Cherryh books. The rest of my bookshelf is mostly novels and stuff. And the Darth Vader mask, probably the only thing interesting here. Anyway, I'm about to run out of battery, so let me answer the last question real quick. It's by Beware the Lizards 42. She says, if I could go back in time and change any one historical event, would I? And what would I change? And why? I wouldn't change anything, because two reasons. I think we're lucky to be where we are. I think we could have very easily destroyed ourselves in the nuclear age or in the beginning of the nuclear age. I cannot guarantee that we would make it this far again if I were to change something. And two, I'm terrible at history. I never really went to high school, and in my science major I've never had to take a history class, so I'm fully self-educated, and by that I mean I'm only self-educated. And so pinpointing a specific event would not be my strong point. Kind of a cop-out answer, but I think anyway, changing things I think would be a little bit rash. At least it feels that way to me. Especially changing anything far enough back that we really couldn't guess what the consequences would be. Anyway, that's the end. Hope you all enjoyed this, and I will put this up and talk to you all later. Thanks for watching if you made it through all three. Bye-bye.